Sree Maathrey namaha. Shrikanto matlo sajani sarvamangalaha jankaha shankaro mahadevaha tvam vande gajananam. Vimalapati kamalakuti pustaka rudrakshasasthasaputi kamakshi pakshmalakshi kaltavipanchi vibhasi varinchi. Manojam maluttumbya vegam jitendriyam buddhimatam varishtam vatatmajam vanuryutam mukyam Sriramdutam sirsanamami. Apadam apahtaram dataram sarvasampadam lokabhiramam Sriramam bhuyo bhuyo namamyam. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. Apadam Apartaram Dataram Sarva Sampadam Lokabhiramam Shri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyam. Shivashaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Pravitum Nache Devam Devo Nakalo Kushalas Panditum Apyatastvama Radhyam Harihara Virinjadi Birapi Pranantum Stotum Vakadamakata Punya Pravati. Jnananandamaim Devam Nirmal Spatikakrutim Madharam Sarva Vidyanam Haikurim Upasmahe. Gurve Sarvalokanam Vishya Bhavaroginam Nidhiye Sarvavidyanam Shri Dakshinamurtiye namaha. In today's class, we'll discuss the 42nd Slokam of Soundarya Lahari. From the first Slokam of Soundarya Lahari to the 41st one is called Ananda Lahari, and they talk about the subtle or the Sukshma Sarira and Sukshmatara Sarira of Mother, which is essentially the Mantra Rupam, Yantra Rupam, and the Kundalini Rupam, the subtlest form of Rupam of Mother, are basically attempted from 1 to 41. But we know majority of us cannot go inward easily. In Lata Sahasranam, we have the name Antarmukh Samaradhya Bahirmukh Sudurlabha. Therefore, when Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya got the 100 slokas from Kailasha, and the 41 were preserved, and from the 42nd one, Nandi snatched them away. The 1 to 41 are called Ananda Lahari, which essentially talk about the mantram of Mother, the yantram, Sri Vidya Mantras, Sri Vidya Yantras, and then the Kundalini in us, which essentially gets activated. If we are alive, the Kundalini is active. Just like the dish receives the signals from the satellites that we can't see with our naked eyes, you can use equipment to look at those geostationary satellites that are broadcasting the signal that the dishes in the home are able to receive. Similarly, the Kundalini in all of us is receiving the cosmic energy from that divine satellite that we call Mother Divine Lalita Tripur Sundari. She is not only activating the cosmic energy in us during our 3 states of existence, but she is also able to charge us up when we are beyond these 3 states, whether you are in the 4th state, Turiyam, or the Turiyatita in Samadhi as well. She is essentially ensuring that all of us are continue to receive the signal. Now, it's easy to talk about mantras, it is easy to talk about yantras, it is easy to talk about Kundalini with some reading, some experience. But it's very difficult to experience the mantra and its effect, the yantra and its positive effect. The Kundalini in each of us that is there very secretively can be explained by various people by different ways, but can be very difficult to experience the Kundalini Tattvam. Therefore, what Jagadguru has done from the 42nd Slokam, which he has composed, he has written the physical, the gross body of Mother and the finer details. A lot of people generally have, as we start delving into the details of the Soundarya Lahari from the 42nd Slokam onwards, many immature devotees who are half informed and don't have the full trust, continue to think, especially if they have the knowledge of Sanskrit language, and start interpreting the word-to-word meaning, they will be surprised on how a sannyasi like Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya was able to explain a woman's body, the thighs of the women's body, the knees of the women's body, the chest of the women's body. How was he able to explain it in such intricate detail is a question that crosses many mature minds. For a Jagadguru of Adi Shankaracharya's status and stature, one, every other woman is, he sees his own biological mother in that woman. And two, he had to explain the gross body of mother because for ignorant folks like me, it's easy to relate that Maha Mantra Purita Sariram, or the body that is filled and made of mantras, the body which is a representation of the Sri Yantra, the body which is a representation of the Mahashakti Kundalini, when it can be compared to something that I know of, it's easy for me to relate. Therefore, Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya, realizing the intellectual abilities and capabilities of the devotees that are yet to come in the Kali Yuga, he has explained the gross body or the Sthula Sarira of Mother from the 42nd Slokam. Now, as we start explaining those shlokas, we will go to the levels to understand the actual meaning of it, not just word-to-word meaning, which would look very superficial. Now, the reason Jagadguru has also given these slokams from the 42nd one is because she is Mahamaya. When Mother Divine decides that I need to lift this devotee up from the Maya, she will open up the curtain, unveiling the Maya and therefore revealing the true Tattva of Shiva. Therefore, from the 42nd Slokam, when devotees read, chant, a lot of times the worldly associations to the shloka will tend to trap the mind of a devotee. When the devotee uses the concept of na iti, not even this, na iti philosophy, right? Then what happens? Namaha, 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 na iti, in the manas, in the plane of intellect and thought. When you are praying to Mother's gross body, a woman's body crosses through your mind. Then you say, not this, na iti, na iti. So in the plane of namas, in the plane of manasu, we say ma naha. You are chanting in the mano plane, you are chanting the sloka and trying to visualize it. When you are trying to visualize it, the distractions, the pisacha bhavam, whatever we have seen and witnessed in the past, that is the closest to this, will start getting attached to distract us. Or whatever we have seen in the past and made a desire to have it in the future, right? The bhuta of the past with the pisacha of the future getting married to each other, trying to distract us, therefore taking away our concentration from the mantra or the slokam. This is what typically happens. Every time that happens in the plane of Manasu, we have to keep chanting the shloka, the mantra, Sree Maathrey namaha, Sree Maathrey namaha. Namaha essentially is inverting the Manasu. Manaha, when we keep chanting and repeating, the Namaha truly comes out. When we say, look at, for example, Jagadguru talks about mother's thighs and knees. When we are praying to it, we say, oh mother, this is my mother's body. And then the femininity, the women dimension of what men are used to look at naturally goes away. Therefore, taking away the tucha kama, the physical aspect of the body, and transforms into the divine kama, saying, this is the body of my mother, from which I have detached and have been caught up in the cycle of birth and death for many, many, many years. And since I am not able to go to the Bindu form of mother, which is at the center of the Sri Chakram, I don't have a guru who has given me the Sri Vidya mantras according to my prarabdha, my karmas. Now, how do I pray to mother? Easiest is to pray to her physical and the gross form. When I'm praying to her physical and gross form, and I'm trying to do dhyanam on the body, and when I think of mother's chest, this is the same chest that continues to feed and nourish the whole cosmos in the form of moon and sun. Then I am reminded of my mother's breast that fed me when I was helpless and I was just born and crying out of hunger, sleeping next to my mother, who taught me on how to drink milk, who ensured that the mother lactated milk. So the just born baby, it can't even drink water, can continue to stay alive by getting nourished with mother's milk, which has a lot of nourishment, vitamin D, and all kinds of antibacterial properties that will protect the baby. Now, when I start thinking at that level, I will be amazed at who created this human body, who is the creator who is continuing to ensure the balance. And that tucha kamam at the body level starts turning into the daiva kamam to know more and more about this secrets. And therefore, na iti philosophy, na iti is extremely important. When we are praying, we keep getting the thoughts. What is the easiest way to transform these thoughts? For example, if I'm praying and meditating, whatever I don't want to hold, whatever I don't want to think, that's what keeps crossing my mind. For example, I, I wanted to pray to Hanuman today, and I sat, but I keep thinking of all the monkeys, right? Not Hanuman, but all the monkeys. I grew up in a place where there were a lot of monkeys, all the mischief they have done, or whatever mischief I have done to the monkeys. So in my mental plane, whichever monkey comes to my mind, right, all the monkeys I have to think, saying these monkeys are nothing but an avataram of Lord Hanuman. For some, I have probably threw stones at them when I was young, trying to hurt them. I'm extremely sorry for that. And if I'm able to see whatever frame of mind my mind continues to project when I'm trying to meditate and keep rejecting it, saying, oh, in this I see divine, you are showing me a monkey that tried chasing me. But I see the Lord Hanuman who was trying to chase me away from a danger that I was walking into, not realizing I was walking into danger. When we start connecting the mantram, yantram, or the divine form, easiest is the subtle form. How will you connect a mantra or a yantra to a monkey? When you get to the mantra and yantra form, these distractions naturally will start going away and your mind will be very still. So when you are going from bahir, externally to internal, when you keep praying to mother's body constantly, let's say my concentration is always on mother's toe fingers, toes and the toe ring, right? And the right foot that she keeps on the Padapitika, on the footrest, which is, resting, and I can clearly see the divine foot, right foot of mother, which has Latuka applied around it in the bright red color, and those brilliant, beautiful, the nails, which are radiating the white light, which is composition of all the seven lights which are violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red coming together. And therefore, it is killing the tamo guna in me, the laziness in me. And as I start focusing on mother's big toe on the right, I see the brilliant right big toe at which the great Vishnu, the great Brahma, the great Rudra, the great Indra are bowing down in front of it. Though it is emitting white light, that white light that is getting emitted out of mother's brilliant milky nails are eclipsing the colors of the different gems and jewels that are there in precious gems in Brahma, Vishnu, Indra's Kiritas, and Rudra is bowing down there. And the vibhuti that is falling from Rudra's body and head is becoming much whiter in the light, that white light that is emitting out of mother's nails. And when I gently focus on the second finger or the toe, I see the toe ring, and I'm reminded of that marriage of Mahakameshwara and Mahakameshwari, saying, Mother, this is a Saubhagya Chinnam of showing that Sadashiva, you are Sada Suhasini, you are always along with your husband, and therefore you are Purvaja, Supraja. No matter how many generations of people have come and gone, your hair never turned grey. Duno Dudvantam, the next slokam that we'll come and discuss in the next class, we will discuss more about this. So when I'm focusing on that Divya Padam, even if I want to go up, my mind is so tamajjantamoguna padadvaya prabhajala parakal sarorbhat, and I'm looking at those padas, okay, and my mind is just arrested there, and I'm constantly thinking of the feet and not able to progress through. This itself is more than sufficient to transport us into state of samadhi. You are able to look at mother's forehead, Gruhatorna Chillika. Okay, the bow, mother's eyebrows are the bows which Manmada uses to shoot arrows at the Mahayogi Shiva, the yogi who turned the Cupid or Manmada into ashes. Manmada has become Ananga, and he is using mother's eyebrows, which does lasyam when Shiva does natanam, and shooting arrows of romance to at Shiva. And Shiva is moving with kamam, looking at our mother. Now, when I look at those eyebrows, if it is a bow and arrow, it should be joined. Now, when Manmada is holding the bow, naturally you will not see the middle of the bow, which is covered by Manmada's hand. Now, mother's eyebrows in between are being held by Manmada's hands, and using mother's expressions by the eyes, which in Sanskrit is called lasya, Manmada is able to shoot arrows at that Shiva who burnt him down into ashes. So you take any part of the mother, whatever naturally your concentration gets stuck at, and there you start meditating, you will start exploring those divine leelas that have been captured in Devi Puranam by Vyasa and Ashtadas Mahapuranas, which are all derived from mother's body, and therefore all the Puranas are explaining the stories and shlokas. I'm being reminded of Kubera. In Shiva Puranam, there's a story. There was a thief. One day, that thief did not find anything anywhere to steal. He was very, very hungry. So he went into a temple at midnight. And those days, the temples used to be open. So he went into the temple thinking there'll be some food. But in that temple by the night, because of the breeze, as the doors were open, the lamp has been lit because of the breeze. Now, when the thief went in, he could not see anything. So he tore his dhoti into a small piece and lit fire and looked around on what is there in the temple. When he lit the dhoti on fire and lit around, he saw there was a banana, there was a piece of coconut. He took them, ate them, and then, as his tummy was full, he lit again another piece of dhoti, looked around. He's a thief, so he wants to steal. So he looked around and saw, oh, there is a damaru. Very good. I can take this and sell. There is the arati patra. There is a plate in which we put the camphor and do arati. So he's taken these two and walked away. After some time, the thief died. As his punyas and papas, naturally he has done a lot of papas. He's a thief. He does not know. He hurted a lot of people. So Yama took this thief to Shiva and said, the only punya he has done is he has lit a lamp in your temple. And therefore, what do you want me to do? And Shiva said, he has lit lamp in my temple. Very good. Now, make him Kubera, the god of wealth, because he has lit lamp in my temple during the Pavitra Masam of Kartika, which is the favorite month of Vishnu, because Vishnu is my greatest devotee. And during that time, this thief has lit lamp by lighting up, his dhoti, which is not a normal lamp, right? I mean, it's a used dhoti full of sweat. He tore it up. Look at the Ashutosha Tattvam of Shiva, on how simply he becomes happy with some of the small deeds. So make him wealth, the god of wealth. When Kubera heard this, or that thief heard this, he said, give me another 11 years of human life. That's what I would request. And Shiva smiled and asked, why? What do you want to do? He said, just with one temple, a papi like me lighting up a lamp gave me this punyam. I want this to be experienced by maximum people who are not necessarily devotees but are ignorant or arrogant, because they are engulfed in Mahamaya and they are not able to come out of that Mahamaya. Therefore, I want to take these 11 years and set up a lot of temples in the Pavitra Vedabhumi of Bharata, and will come back. And Shiva said, Tatastu. And Kubera came down as a thief has come down again. This time he has taken 11 years and constructed temples. Now, a lot of you might ask me, Kubera is Ravanasura's brother. Like we have the cycles of yugas going on, Kubera, Surya, Chandra, these are all positions. Depending on who does punyas that are equivalent to get to that position, they will occupy that position. In one of the cycles of yugas, this thief became Kubera. Okay. Now, he constructed a lot of temples and came back. And then, after constructing these temples and going back, this Kubera or Shiva said, since you have done such a great work of trying to help others and help them lift themselves spiritually, starting today, Kubera will be called Shiva Sakha, the best friend of Shiva. Okay, Shiva has no other friends. There are bhutas, pretas that are always roaming around him, but Shiva has only one friend, that is Kubera, because Kubera did what Shiva loves. Shiva loves giving, he doesn't take anything. Right? The only thing he has taken is hala halam, the poison that nobody wanted. So Kubera also did something similar of trying to give others by establishing many Shiva temples in this Vedabhumi Bharata for 11 years. And therefore, that is the story that I was being reminded of. Now, going back to the 42nd Slokam, which essentially talks about mother's gross form of body. What does it talk about? Gatai manikyatvam gaganamanivi sandragaditam kiritam te haimam himagirisute kirtiyatiha sanide yacha yacharanam Chandrashakalam Dhanus Saunasiram Kimati Nibadnati Dishanam. This essentially talks about Gatai Manikyatvam, Gaganamanibi Sandra Gatitam. There are 12 sons that we have, the Dwadasa Adityas, that are the sons of Aditi and Kashyapa. Oh, what are the names of Dwadasa Adityas? Vivasana or Vaivasana, Aryaman. Then we have Twasta, Savitar, Bhagha, Datta, Mitra, and then we have Varuna, then Amsa, then Pusha, then Indra, then Vishnu. These are the Dwadasa Aditya names. And every month, one son actually takes over the portion of the sun god's seat. And these Dwadasa Adityas are the ones who continue to shine light upon the cosmos. And these Dwadasa Adityas are great devotees of Mother. We discussed, the sunlight. Sun is powered by one ray coming from Mother's Tatanka Yugali Bhuta Tapana Udupa Mandala. Tatanka Yugali Bhuta. The both earrings are sun and moon. Okay, sun and moon, not the sun that we are able to pray to. That sun, which is essentially equivalent to Udyadbanu Sahasrava, infinite number of suns put together. From that right earring of Mother, one ray falls on the sun god that we pray to as the Pratyaksha Bhagavan Prabhakara, and you see the brightness of it. Okay. Now, these 12 Adityas are great devotees of Mother. Now, what is that it says? Gatai Manikyatvam Gaganamanibi Sandra Gatitam. All the 12 sons, they are so great devotees of your Mother. They wanted to come close to you, so they adorned themselves. They got into your crown as the 12 jewels. But in front of your light, they are just appearing like a mere ruby gem. The 12 suns which light up the cosmos are appearing just like 12 rubies on your kiritam. That's what the first line says. Kate manikyatvam gaganamadivi sandragatitam. Kiritam te haimam himagarisute kirtiyataha. Kiritam, in your kiritam, te haimam, the one that is made of gold. The golden kiritam that you have, Himagirisute, the daughter of the king of snow-covered mountain. Hima is mountain, Hima is snow, Giri is mountain, Himagiri Sute. Essentially, you have taken many forms and births, and you have taken Sati and have sacrificed the life as Sati because your father insulted Shiva. What does Daksha, who's a Prajapati born to Brahma, how can he be ignorant? This is a story that is applicable for all of us. Okay. And this story essentially talks about when born to Brahma is Daksha. When all of us are born by the interference of Brahma. When we get capabilities, Dakshatvam, what happens? We tend to ignore God. We use our Shakti to do everything. But we say, hey, what is God? God hasn't done anything. It's because of all my hard work. Then the Shakti in us becomes the Sati. Sati because she's always accompanied by Shiva. When the Daksha in us, the capability, the designation, the power, the money, the devotion also, when it increases, it brings in a kind of arrogance in people. When that arrogance increases, they think they are above God. They think they are above Vedas, like Ravanasura. And then what happens? They start insulting the God. Okay. And therefore, then what happens? The Shakti in us will start becoming weaker and weaker. And that, when becomes weaker, eventually it will kill us. But before that, when the energy becomes weaker and weaker, we lose our capabilities. See, many people who chant the stotras for 70 years, 80 years, they keep forgetting that. That's because of age. But if in between arrogance comes, you will see how the life of a devotee filled with arrogance completely gets destroyed. There are many people, many examples like that. Now, that is the story of Daksha. When Sati sacrificed herself in her own yoga fire, she didn't jump into the Homagundam and all that people talk about. She sat in meditation and invoked the yoga Agni in her and completely consumed herself. So when we don't respect the Shakti in us, which is being powered by Shiva and Shakti, and continue to take credit for everything for us, or ignore the divine capabilities that are enabling us, then the Shakti will start reducing herself in us as well. Eventually, our capabilities will be culled, our Daksha. Like Daksha's head was taken by Veerabhadra. Okay? Veerabhadra essentially is the one who is supposed to keep the divine capabilities in us. Bhadra means safe. Veera means using our capabilities to bring the best of us out. That Veerabhadra, accompanied by Bhadrakali. The Bhadra Kali essentially is the consort of Veerabhadra. Bhadra Kali, the time that has been keeping us very safe. Bhadram means safe. Kali means the keeper of time. That Bhadra Kali and Veerabhadra essentially will come in ferocious form. Okay, and they do Vikata Attahasam. Okay, what does Vikata Attahasa? Attahasa means now smiling, laughter. Okay, Vikata Attahasa means scary, roaring laughter. And they laugh, saying, "We have given you everything, but you forgot the capabilities, what they are supposed to be used for, and therefore you have abused and you don't deserve these." Veerabhadra culls, removes the capability head that can think and act, and therefore explaining the true meaning of the Daksha Yagna Vidvamsam. Then Daksha, Brahma comes back again because Daksha is his son and says, "Please forgive him, Shiva." The Ashutoshi Shiva says, "Okay," and then asks Veerabhadra to get whichever animal is lying closest. They see a goat lying dead there. So Veerabhadra chops that goat's head and keeps the den. As Daksha gets the head back, he starts chanting Om Sham Chame Mayas Chame Priyam Chame Nukamas Chame. Since he has now a goat head, goat keeps bleeding meh meh. He continued to pray. I didn't realize until my head was chopped. The head of capabilities was chopped and it was replaced with the head of a goat. No matter which form, Naratvam, Devatvam, Nagavana Mrugatvam, Masakata, Pashutvam, Kitatvam, Bhavatu Vihagatvadijannam, Sadatvat Padabjasmarna Paramananda Lahari, Viharasaktam Chet, Hridaya Kimtena Vapusha. The 10th Slokam in Shivananda Lahari, which Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya composed, no matter what form of life that I be born in, I don't have a control on it. It's my punyas, papas, my karmas that will decide. But ensure that I always go around you and your namam, your temple. And that's essentially what happened to Daksha. Okay, now in this 42nd Slokam, we are talking about the first line and talked about Himagiri Sute. Then mother was born to the Himalayas, Himavanta and Menaka as their daughter. Okay, when will Mother Parvati be born to Himavanta? When they did meditation, dhyana, and said, "We want a daughter like you. There is nobody like me. It has to be me. Therefore, I'll be born." Okay, and therefore she was born. And when we start meditating in us, the Parvata Rajaputri will be born in us, which means Kundalini will start getting activated. And as Parvati did serve the yogi Shiva before getting married, the Kundalini will start serving. The Shivatvam means the spiritual aspect. Okay, you could be praying to Krishna. Then you will realize the Krishna Maha Mantram is Radhe, 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 Radhe. Krishna's dearest name is Radha. Similarly, when you pray to Rama, 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 then you realize, oh, I have to keep saying Sri Rama, Sri Rama, Sri Rama, Sri Rama. So the Shakti comes and joins. Okay, when you are used to chanting Krishna, 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 Sri Krishna, it will either become Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Krishna, or Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, or Radhe, 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 Radhe. Okay, now that's how she comes and joins and eventually takes us to give us the darshanam of the Parama Purusha, whether it is Vishnu in the form of Rama, Krishna, or whichever form you like, or the Parameshwara Shiva, depending on what your favorite liking is. All of us are born with 4 gods, right? The Grama Devata, the Gruha Devata, the Garbha Devata, the Graha Devata. Grama Devata is the god or goddess that is prayed to by the town, village, or city where we live in. And that Grama Devata is an Amsa of the Mother Divine. Garbha Devata. Garbha Devata is Graha Devata next. Graha Devata is whatever god or goddess our ancestors are used to praying to. We need to know who that is and pray to them, right? Because our Pitrus have been praying. Then Garbha Devata. When we were inside our mother's tummy, what is the god or goddess our mother prayed to? You will naturally have an inclination towards it because that's what you have been listening to when you were in mother's tummy. Then the 4th one is Graha Devata. Based on your astrology, you will have one god or goddess that will easily respond to you. Okay, and that god or goddess is the Graha Devata. So you need to know these 4, and typically the Garbha Devata will be your Ishta Devata. Whatever your mother prayed to will naturally be there in your form. And therefore, or whenever you were in mother's tummy, for example, your father chanted Hanuman Chalisa sitting next to your mom, or your father chanted Sri Krishna Namam, then naturally you will start having liking towards Krishna. Okay. The Graha Devata, if you're doing a mantram, and no matter what mantras you do, you don't get a resolution for your problems. And then you go to an expert astrologer who knows astrology and does not take money for telling astrology. Whenever astrological predictions are made, money should not be demanded. It can be taken when others give out of will, but money should not be expected by the astrologer. Only then they will have Vak Suddhi and Chitta Suddhi, thinking and speaking. And then whatever predictions they are making, reading the mathematics, Vedic mathematics of astrology will come true. And they will be able to tell you who is your Graha Devata. What happens when you pay to Graha Devata? Like all of you see, the homas that I do, a lot of people ask me, why do you Ganapati homas? My Graha Devata is Ganapati. Okay. And whenever generally I pray to Ganapati asking something, I naturally get a much quicker response. Like the forms in homas that many of you see, or the mantras that get represented. I don't ask Ganapati that you should come, right? But the Graha Devatas will respond to us very, very easily because of some Deva Runanubandham. We have been praying to that gods in our past lives, and therefore they will help us progress through. Yeah. And then my Ishta Devata, yes, Divine Mother and Father. Okay. And I will have an emotional attachment, or Bhava Devata is Vishnu and Lakshmi. Means when I think of all the hard work that Vishnu continues to do to a Sthitikara, I will feel ecstatic with tears of bliss. Okay. So you have to understand there's no need to have just one God and not pray others. But the rule is whichever feet you pray to, the God's divine feet or the Goddess's divine feet, typically it takes 12 years equivalent to start getting the results. And a lot of people will not have that consistency, therefore they continue to complain that no God is responding to us. So Grama Devata, Graha Devata, Garbha Devata, Graha Devata. These are the 4 Devatas. Okay, and when we do Mother Goddess Parvati in us Himagiri Sute, Himagiri Sute Kirtiyati, we will start praising that Sri Shakti or the feminine aspect of reaching the divine. Okay, and then what happens? Sunny day Yacha Charnam. So, when that happens, essentially, these Dwadasa Adityas, the 12 names of Aditi sons that we have discussed, their light is coming out, and in the beautiful radiance, Udyat Bhanu Sahasrava, and mother's radiance, what is happening? That light is getting engulfed and it is appearing like white light. Okay, and how the light of the sun, you can't look at the sunlight, but what is mother doing for us? She's doing a beautiful miracle. The Dwadas Adityas who became the gems in her Kiritam, their bright sunlight, which has been now reduced to the light of rubies, again it's intense ruby light. It is like the sunlight in the form of ruby light coming. With mother's face, when the Kiritam sat on top of the mother's face, what happened? It became Chandra Shakalam, essentially sunny day Yachayat Charana Sabalam Chandra Shakalam. This light coming from the 12 gems touching your face has become as cold as the moon's rays. Therefore, I'm able to see them. If it is the natural sun, I'm not able to see the sun beyond the 6th or 7th minute as the sun rises in the east every day morning. What am I talking about? These 12 gems. And when I look at mother's face, that cooling, radiating face which calms down all my chittavrittis, all my tapas, the heat that is generated by the friction of my desires not being fulfilled. When I look at mother's face, that beautiful forehead on top of which few strands of hair is falling, and then the beautiful eyebrows, which essentially is the bow which is being used by Manmada to shoot arrows at the father. And I keep looking at the forehead saying, Mother, everybody says you have 3 eyes just like father, but I'm not able to see. She says, it's not yet time for you to see the 3rd eye. You continue to focus on my face. When the time is right, I will open the 3rd eye to show there is no difference between me and your father, and we are one and the same. And therefore, I will show you the Ardhanarishvara Rupam. As I come down, I see those eyes. I say, how are you able to keep your eyes open all the time? That she smiles and laughs and says, my eyes are not the same eyes. They appear, they look the same as all the human or animal eyes, but my eyes are not the same. Just because they appear, appearance are deceptive. And Unmesha Nimishotpanna Vipanna Bhunavalihi. I will only close my eyes when your father has to do the Samhara Kriya at the end of the all the cosmos. He will wipe everything clean because every beginning needs to have an end and every end will have a beginning. Since I'm a mother by nature and my maternal instincts will kick in, and therefore I don't want to see father ending everything. So I will close my eyes. Then coming to the Nasagram, that beautiful nose of mother, at the tip of which Champakashoka Punnaga Saugandikala Satkacha Tarakant Tiraskari Nasa Abarna Basura, which your nose appears like a beautiful flower. And when I'm focusing on your nose, I'm able to smell the beautiful flower fragrance of champaka flower, oh mother. And that champaka, why champaka? There are so many flowers. When I'm focusing, champaka flower attracts the cobras. When I'm focusing on your nose, essentially my breath is being controlled. When my breath is being controlled and your nose, which is reminding me of the champaka, let it invoke the kundalini in me, which is the deva sarpam that is there, the cobra. And therefore Champaka is what I'm seeing your nose as. And when I'm focusing on your nose, mother, my breath is being controlled and regulated. And when I'm focusing on your nose, I see that subtle pearl in between the nose bridge of yours, which is not visible outside in the picture, but every time you gently inhale and exhale the Hamsa Yogam, the breath as you inhale, that pearl ring that is there in the bridge of your nose is going in. As you breathe out, it's gently coming out. When I'm looking at Tara Kanti Tiraskari Nasa Basura, I see your nasal ring, which is rejecting the light of all the stars put together. Tara Kanti Tiraskari, it appeared like a star, but it is rejecting the brightness of stars being much brighter. And when I come down, I see your gentle lips. Oh, mother, I see those lips, but how do I look at your teeth? And mother, when we are focusing on mother with this intensity, she will gently smile and show us the Dvijapankti Dvayojjvala, the 32 teeth that she has, which are nothing but the mantras of mother. She opens her mouth and gives us the mantra that we are supposed to pray her with, and shows as she gently opened her mouth to reveal some of the teeth, which means only some mantras, not all, the beautiful smell of that lavangam, that cardamom, ilachi, and that karpura, digantara, that tambulam that mother is eating, the divine smell coming out of mother's mouth is engulfing us, where we are not able to think, speak, say anything else. You forget the dimension of time. After some time, some sound outside or some thought comes saying, oh, you are stuck with that karpura vitikamoda samakarsha digantara. The whole directions that smell the mother's tambula smell continue to pause. As you come down, you will see the beautiful chin. Oh, mother, this is the same chin, right? That father holds your face with and gently lifts and looks at saying, what is there in me that a beautiful woman, beautiful girl like you wanted to get married to a Bhairagi like me? And then he reveals his Suddha Sattva Rupam, the most beautiful god ever is Shiva. And the Bairagi Rupam goes and that beautiful form comes when he looks into mother's eyes, realizing the Tapo Shakti that she gathered as Parvati to meditate upon him in order to get the Bairagi Shiva, who is wearing skulls, who is smeared with the ashes from the graveyard, who has matted hair, who has sarpas as snakes as his ornaments. And then he transforms himself as a bogi that will spend time with mother in the Ardhanarishwara form. This is a brief attempt at this 42nd Slokam of Soundarya Lahari, which talks about the Kiritam, because according to Sanatana Dharma, when we pray to a masculine god, Shiva, Rama, Sri Krishna, Sri Rama, we are supposed to pray from the feet, the toe, and then go up to the head. When we pray to a feminine form or a Devi, we are supposed to pray from the head to the toe. And this is exactly what Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya brought in the Samayajara Tattvam, following the Vedas and praying to the Mother Divine in a form that is recommended and registered in Vedas. And this first slokam of Soundarya Lahari, the 42nd one, makes an attempt to pray to that Divya Kiritam of Mother, which is what, being he did a feat of screenplay to ensure that we are able to meditate on Mother's Kiritam by knowing about the Dwadasadityas, reducing their effect, and therefore ensuring the Mother's face becomes the cooling, radiating moon rays that can take out the intensity of any heat that is coming our way, any samsara tapas, and therefore giving us the cool moonlight effect and blessing us with. Okay, that's the brief attempt at the 42nd Slokam. Now we will chant the Mangalam Guru Shri and conclude the class for today. Mangalam Guru Shri Chandramaulishwarage Shakti Ganapati Sharadambige Shankaracharyanige Kala Bhairavage Kali Durgige Veeradhira Sura Hanuma Maruti Charanage Mangalam Guru Shri Sree Maathrey namaha, and stay blessed.